Sister, you've been on my mind. Sister, we're two of a kind. Sister, I'm keeping my eye on you.
Every voice tells a story, and every story holds power. This is Voices Against Violence, a podcast from NGO CSW New York, and I am Pamela Morgan, who, along with Rosa Lazard, serves as co-chair of this substantive NGO committee. In this series, you'll hear the lived experiences of people who've endured, survived, and resisted gender-based violence, people who are now leading efforts to heal communities, change laws, and reclaim their power. These voices come from every corner of the globe. Their courage transcends borders. Their fight is ours. Grounded in truth, informed by experience, powered by global voices, because silence has never been an option, and change starts with listening. Gender-based violence is not confined to one region, one culture, or one system. It's a global crisis with deeply local consequences. UN Women's recently published repository on their work on technology-facilitated violence against women and girls reflects their efforts in addressing a critical and growing form of violence that disproportionately affects women and girls worldwide. They define technology-facilitated violence against women and girls as any act committed or amplified through digital means, leading to physical, sexual, psychological, economic, or social harm. Rooted in power imbalances, patriarchy, and misogyny, technology-facilitated violence against women and girls not only exacerbates existing forms of violence, like harassment and intimate partner violence, that has also led to the emergence of new forms of abuse, especially in the rapidly digital world. UNFPA's website lists technology-facilitated gender-based violence as a growing threat, and I quote, "As our world becomes increasingly digital, so too do the spaces and means for perpetuating gender-based violence. We are witnessing a rise in the weaponizing of technology and online platforms to attack women and girls on the basis of their gender. Technology-facilitated gender-based violence takes many forms, including sextortion, which is blackmail by threatening to publish sexual information, photos, or videos; image-based abuse, which is sharing intimate photos without consent; doxing, which is publishing private personal information; cyberbullying, online gender and sexual harassment; cyberstalking, online grooming for sexual assault; hacking, hate speech, online impersonation; and using technology to locate survivors of abuse in order to inflict further violence, among many others. It carries significant health, safety, political, and economic consequences for women and girls, for their families and communities, and for society as a whole. As women and girls self-censor to prevent technology-facilitated gender-based violence, their voices are silenced and democracies suffer. In order to better understand this issue, we have with us an expert in the area, Mr. Babu Aryal, the founder of the Internet Governance Institute Nepal, and the founder, CEO of Delta Law Firm, based in Kathmandu, Nepal, that has over 25 years experience on telecommunications, including internet and cyber law. His major area as a lawyer of practice includes cybercrime, and he has a particular interest in technology-facilitated violence against women. Welcome, Babu.
Thank you, Pamela. It's my pleasure to be with you. The very significant podcast, and this content is very close to my heart, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and experience with your audience. Thank you.
Thank you. So to begin, can you tell us how you first became involved in this work, and what are some of the specific challenges women face when confronting technology-facilitated violence against women and girls?
See, I started my career as a journalist, mainstream journalist, When I was doing some reporting to my newspaper, I had gone through various very critical issues on gender-based issues, and I grew up in between two sisters. My elder I have five brothers and three sisters, but my senior was sister and my junior was sister. So I was sandwiched between two sisters. So I had very close experience how difficult or what type of issues were there when they were grooming, they were rare when they were children. And because of my very closeness with the content, I was more engaged on gender issues when I was journalist, and I contributed while reporting on that. So when I shifted my career as a lawyer, and then one of my early research engagement was on abortion issue. So previously, abortion was very critical legal issue, and many women were in the prison, and because of strict laws on abortion. So when I went through those legal issues, then I had very keen on working in this kind of area as well. So when I more focused on my legal career in especially in cyber law and telecommunications law, there were lots of issues revolving around women and children. And when I had some research on the reporting on uh, cybercrime at the Nepal police, then I found in a research almost more than 70 to 80% victims of cybercrime were women, especially young girls. So it was in my mind that I should work for this, and I had engaged on policy lobby, policy contribution, and digital rights, and defending digital rights of women as well. When I see these digital platforms, just last week I had a chance on some discussion discourse on digital platforms issue. What I see that if we see the platform is more insecure for women and person with disabilities, and this is much vulnerable platform now these days in cyberspace. So I thought that when as a lawyer, when I see the cybercrime cases, most of the victims, as I said earlier, were women, and women were very brutally treated in the cyberspace, and because of digital lack of digital literacy, women were more victimized from a single person in multiple dynamics. So, because of this, I thought that this could be a major area of contribution, and Internet Governance Institute have been organizing various capacity building workshops and conferences as well. And in the conferences and workshops, gender based issues are one of the very primary area that I have been working. Secondly, when I see again the platform, then platform is very vague when I say the platform, but significant chunk of population, basically women users, they lack big knowledge on how securely use this platform. So, because of the understanding of the technology, dynamics of the technology, they are more vulnerable and being affected in the cyberspace. So, I think because of this, I'm very much interested to more contributing on protecting women in online sector.
Thank you. That's so interesting. Yeah, that we need to help people learn how to safely use the platform so that they don't leave themselves open to abuse. That's a very, very interesting way perspective. So, based on your experiences with technology facilitated violence against women and cybercrime in the Asia Pacific region, do you see any implications for the global community when looking at this? And who is responsible for protecting women in that area?
See, it's very tricky that who is responsible to protect. So when we talk about the regional perspective, I basically work in Asia Pacific regional level. Intergovernance Institute is hosting in this October the Asia Pacific Regional Intergovernance Forum, and we have a few relevant topics for the discussion as well. So when I see from especially sub-regional perspective of South Asia, the literacy, digital literacy is one of the very key issue, and the traditional taboos on the family dynamics of the societies, especially male chauvinism, is very significantly present, and the violence against women has certain psychology that the male has certain advantage in the family, in the community, in the neighborhood. So this kind of perception are also significantly playing on abuse of women in online. Just recently, I'm giving a very weird example that recently saw one of video footage in Facebook in a local community in Nepal. One of member of parliament was abusing another member of parliament who was a woman, and he was ignoring the recognition of the representation of that member of parliament, and considering she was appointed as parliamentarian through the some protective measures. So he was a bit abusive. I think now in this region, even politicians, member of parliamentarians, and senior government officials are also getting abused in the platforms because of the gender perspective, or because of their ethnicity, or other underprivileged domain. So this is very important that we need to have more awareness. I think this podcast is one of the example of awareness. So it's very important how to cope with this situation, how to use our tools, how to use our space, and what should be the legal measures, especially when some abusive content is there, some troll is there, which is intended to harm the persona and privacy of women. This is very significant that that is a bit we have in South Asia. It's a common culture and common kind of situation, let's say from economic, or let's say from education, or even from community level. The patriotic society and the chauvinism, male chauvinism, are significantly playing even in abuse in cyberspace. I'll give you one very interesting example from my home country itself. A few years ago, I had a chance of involved in one case where an adolescent, a young girl who was minor, had a relationship with a boy, and the boy asked some nude photo from his girlfriend who was minor, as I referred, and then the minor girlfriend gave her nude photo to his to her boyfriend, and boyfriend circulated that to the larger audience in Facebook group. Later on, when the minor girl knew that incident, and then she committed suicide. And here, I wanted to give the example of how the boyfriend casually misused the trust of a young girl. See, that's why I said previously that the hierarchy of mindset in people, especially from the gender perspective. So these are very deeply rooted because of lack of the education, especially when in a digital space. The digital education literacy is very significant, and it's very common in the region, especially in South Asia. That this is the sub region in Asia Pacific. So yeah, this is very important part. And another thing is in most of the cases, the algorithmic structure of tools, let's see, these digital platforms or other softwares, they are very prejudiced and biased because they are developed in those mindsets, having male character and international uh, global quote unquote global character from capitalistic economy. If we talk about Facebook, we talk about YouTube, we talk about this Twitter, now X, most of them are developed in the developed, so-called developed economies, and they had only a mindset of making money, minting money was the primary interest of developing these tools. So they didn't design these tools to protect a woman residing here in Kathmandu, and rather than Kathmandu, a very remote area of Nepal. So they even cannot think, the developer cannot think how very rural, remote women from Nepal or from India or even Pakistan uh, could be using these tools. So there is a huge gap between the developers, between the business people and the user from very remote. So we have to meet some of the gap in this kind of situation. So what could be the tools and who could be the responsible? That is very significant, that we need to check on this. So global norms on protecting violence against women has to be there, and once we have these universally accepted norms or convention, that could be a significant departure on protecting women.
Thank you. That was so helpful. That was such an excellent response. Thank you. So our final question really is a call.
Just a second. Okay.
The final question is really a call to action, your call to action. What supports do local movements need from the international community? And I know you've already spoken about global norms being in place, but what needs to be done to protect women from tech facilitated gender based violence?
See, global norm is one thing that I mentioned in previously, but the important part of protecting women from the violence is building a local ecosystem. Unless we build the local ecosystem, we cannot protect them. See, first I said, as I previously mentioned, that the very important part is digital safety awareness programs, digital literacy, and the local instrument has to be in place. And once we maintain these things, and then there should be certain parameters to build community standard for these digital platforms, where they develop their platforms in a way that they see women who are coming into their platform are very safe. And it's very important to realize these platform owners, to realize these developers, realize these uh, founders, to understand the dynamics of health, dynamic of mindset, dynamics of the whole cultural and behavior perspective of women, especially when we are talking from regional or Nepalese context. It's very important that a person who is developing some tools in California has to understand the dynamics of a Kathmandu woman or even remote from Nepal. So just one stakeholders cannot contribute on this. a significant multi-stakeholder contribution has to be there, and that only can contribute on protecting women in the cyberspace.
Excellent. Babu, thank you so very, very much for your guidance and these your sharing your comprehensive perspective with us on this rapidly emerging and growing issue of technology facilitated violence against women. So yes, as we've heard, change begins at the grassroots, but it doesn't end there. Babu Ram Aryal continues his work at the Internet Governance Institute, the Secretariat of the Digital Freedom Coalition, and the Delta Law Firm. From rural towns to the UN halls in New York, the fight against gender-based violence is being driven by people like Babu Ram Aryal with courage, clarity, and conviction. Thank you for joining us on Voices Against Violence, a podcast by NGO CSW New York. If today's story moved you, please share it, start a conversation, and stay connected with us at ngocsw.org, because raising voices is just the beginning. Listening and learning in action is where change begins. Thank you.
Of a kind sister, I'm keeping my eye on you. I bet you think I don't know nothing but singing the blues. Sister, have I got news for you? I'm something. I hope you think that you're something too.